Okay, to write equations for vertical and horizontal lines given a point, first we need to start with remembering that a vertical line is a line that never crosses the y-axis. So here's a vertical line. It's running parallel to the y-axis. And parallel lines never cross each other, so that's why we say a vertical line never crosses the y-axis. And the equation for it cannot even have a y in the equation because it doesn't cross the y-axis. The equation for this is going to say x equals and then some number here. In this case, since this is at -2 right here, notice that every location on here, if we named the coordinates, this would be at -2 and +2. This would be at -2 and +1. This would be at -2 and 0, -2 and -1. So in every case, x was -2. So the equation for this line is x is -2. That's the equation. And then for the horizontal line, it never crosses the y-axis. It's running parallel, or excuse me, never crosses the x-axis. It's running parallel with the x, so there should be no x in the equation. It cannot have an x in the equation, never crosses the x-axis. So this one, notice this is at 0 on the y, but it's, I'm sorry, it's at 0 on the x, but it's at 2 on the y. And like if we had a spot here, that would be at 2 on the x and 2 on the y. If we're over here, this is at -1 on the x, but still 2 on the y. Over here, we have -3 on the x, yet still 2 on the y. Notice that in every single case of that line, the y value is 2. And so we would say the equation of this line is y is 2, no matter what x is. So that leads us to writing an equation for a line that's vertical to this point. Well, we said vertical lines, that's the up and down, never cross the y-axis. So our equation should say x equals something. Well, what is the x in the set given? It's a 2. So x equals 2 is that equation. The horizontal line never crosses the x-axis. So the equation should say y equals something. So, well, what's the y value there? Y is 3. That's the equation for the horizontal line. The vertical line, if you're given this point, the vertical line, again, that's the up and down line, so it's never crossing the y-axis. So it should say x equals, and whatever the x value is in the set, that's what it equals. The horizontal equation, never crossing the x, so it should be a y equals equation, and it's 7.